to Potato. Oh, that was a potato. What's your sound wave like? Mine's quite clear.
You want to do the intro? You do your radio voice intro. That'll work well.
Yes. Right. You are listening to Future Sounds. This is Series 3, Episode 2. It's a quiet one tonight. Oh, it's a quiet intro, isn't it? Just me and Fakeman.
It's a very quiet intro.
Just
the
we
two
can
of
make it
us.
if we try. That's very beautiful.
Well, we'll have
will.
to make it,
And
won't
then
we? There's no one else.
Tom making up for it with a really top interview in a minute that we're kind of we'll talk about in a sec. But how you been? You've been to Cardiff.
I've been very well, thank you.
Eating ramen.
Been to Cardiff. Went to the valleys. First of all, we should probably explain the reason it's just the two of us tonight. Number one, as Rob's just alluded to, Tom has a fantastic interview, which we will tell you all about in one moment. So the majority of this pod will be Tom's dulcet tones. And of course, Enzo, who's usually at the helm, has just had a bambino. Well, he is his father, the bambino, which was born currently 2 days ago.
It is,
wasn't it? On our time. So, congratulations, Enzo and Kaylee, to bouncing. I think were you allowed to say it's a bouncing baby
give
boy?
the name away, but that's probably privacy rules.
It might be a privacy
rule.
Stalked. Yeah, you know, it's a very hot off the press baby,
fresh out of the oven.
So yes, so this is as the reason as to why it's you have myself and Rob here to do a little bit of a hello, a little bit of a chat. And then we'll go from there. But yes, been to Cardiff. I actually popped in and saw the boys. The boys being Jay and Enzo,
pre-baby.
MPF. Pre-baby. So things were that little bit of tension in the air as we had our fried breakfast.
Any moment.
In the crisp. Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, I think it was literally a day or two later that said child came to the earth. How have you been, Rob?
Baby's here. Yeah, I've just been working a bit. Oh, you know what I've done though? I've booked 6 sessions with a personal trainer. First time I've done anything like that, because I'm determined to shift this stubborn weight, let's call it, that I put on during the pandemic and never lost. So yeah, I went for a session today. He's a young chap. He's a rugby player or ex-rugby player, and full of enthusiasm and support. And I just feel really unfit. I'm hurting like a mother now. Jeez, my legs.
Do you know what though? The aching is the nice feeling. Although you said it was today.
Had an hour session today. We did legs for an hour.
Wait till tomorrow morning.
It's gonna be worse. Oh my god. My butt, my glutes. I tell you what. But it's good, man. So yeah, new year, new weight loss. I managed to shift the 7, not in an hour, but I have shifted the 7 pounds I put on over Christmas, which is nice.
So holiday weight,
gone. Holiday weight's gone.
To call it that's gone by what is today the 26th of Jan. Well, we're looking, we've addressed different dates in publishing, but today being the 26th of Jan. No, congratulations. It's always good to have a bit of a focus, a bit of a vision on it. I know it's something you've been talking about for a while.
God, I don't want to be a
push down.
You're a tubby 46-year-old. No.
And you're home alone.
Yeah,
tonight,
well,
right?
I've got my little boy upstairs sleeping, hopefully. He already has light on. He might be reading cheekily under the covers like we always used to do with my Beano annual when I was a kid. But, I know.
Nostalgic.
I'm that old. How about yourself? Are you home alone?
Yeah, well, I obviously I'm simply hiding upstairs in the office space to get a little bit of peace and quiet with what is ultimately 4 felines in the house. No, obviously I didn't make the last recording, which was the first of season 3. I was actually again in a more travelling. I was in deepest Devon. For those in the US who don't know, Devon is kind of toward the bottom left-hand side where the UK kind of comes out on a little sticky bit. It's not right down the bottom. It's kind of in the thigh.
The thigh
area,
of England.
If you considered that to be the juicy thigh of England, and it was just as moist down there as well. It was shockingly wet, shockingly cold. However, a good time was had. And yes, so it's nice to get back into the pod. It's been a little while. Nice to be at season 3. Nice to be at 2024. Everyone feels Well, I say everyone feels refreshed, but from hearing about Enzo, I think he's had an hour's sleep, so I don't think he feels refreshed at all.
And the other one's quite a young little girl as well. So yeah, he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, well, I like to think maybe he's just giving it all out the way.
Call it a day now. Does that mean Jay's having to pull his weight a bit more at the labels?
Well, I haven't heard much about it. I'm still receiving MPF emails and updates. But I know there's not just those dudes that do that. So I reckon while the cat's away, the other cat is also away.
That's called cats.
Rob, we do it. We have a little something for the people, don't we? But they're going to have to wait a little.
Yes, you will have to endure. I'm not quite sure how long the interview is actually with Groove Remote. And Thom, who's from San Antonio, Texas, I believe. Not Thom, but Groove Remote. And then you're going to hear an exclusive track play. So don't fast forward. Don't be skipping it. Don't be listening to this on 3.2 speed or whatever. Enjoy it. Take your time. Make a cuppa. And then come back for an exclusive.
Well, we could speak really slowly. So when you speed it up, we sound normal, but that's just going to annoy me. I can't do it.
And I don't know if Thom and Groove Remote would be doing the same thing. So it could just get really weird. It'd just be like listening to Chipmunks.
It's kind of weird already, isn't it? Let's be fair. Literally, they've left us to it. It feels like a saloon chat, quiet saloon chat. Okay, so probably what's best for us to do is maybe tee up Thom.
Hey, up to me.
So my understanding is this was something that Thom recorded, as we say, with his good friend Aldo, aka Groove Remote, fresh from his DJ set at Flamingo Fest Day 1 in LA last year. And the way the guys have described it as a music nerd loving. So sitting down with Aldo, they chatted about DJing, compilation curating, and making what in brackets has been referred to as proper Vaporwave.
Oh, okay. None of this new malarkey.
None of that dodgy stuff.
So no guitar, no instrumentation that hasn't been sampled. Is that what we're saying? For the OG
Well,
fans.
I don't want to put words in people's mouths. It could be. And I think along the way, they do detour a little bit into talking about pirate radio. And of course, one of my favourite producers, Mr. Patrick Cowley, who, of course, without being too obvious, I did write a small article on last summer on Patrick Cowley, which you can get at future-sounds.uk. And you can have a bit of a read of Mr. Cowley, his very short life, but incredibly interesting times. So, is it without further ado?
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Without further ado, here is Thom and Aldo, aka Groove Remote. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so you're recording, yeah?
Yes.
Wicked. It looks like I am as well. So after some technical difficulties, I'm here with Groove Remote. Groove Remote's a DJ, a dad, an educator, a curator, a compiler, a connoisseur, and a prolific producer of proper Vaporwave. Or at least that's how I consider you. I don't know how you consider yourself.
Well, I'm blushing, but I think just being a music lover. I love music. I try and incorporate it as much as I can. Like you mentioned, DJing. I'm a dad. I'm always playing music for my kiddo. Collecting, making Vaporwave or trying to make Vaporwave. I think just being a music lover and just trying to share it.
That's cool. That's a really nice answer because, in writing down all the things that you do, there's kind of considerable overlap, and kind of Vaporwave seems to be the perfect kind of environment for that. This kind of hybrid role of being a collector and a creator.
I know it's very, very accessible to do anything. Really, I mean, it's been really easy.
Yeah,
easy in the sense that. Easy in a skill sense, and I mean that with peace and love. Easy community-wise, easy accessibility. I mean, you just go to YouTube, you type in Vaporwave or whatever, you get a Bandcamp, and there's no shortage of music. So, I say easy with complete kindness.
Yeah, that is the best thing about it, is kind of accessibility, like easy to find, and maybe easier than some other genres to make your voice heard, although it is still really difficult. And you see people getting frustrated that their music isn't being picked up by a wider audience, or you get some people who get a slightly skewed perception of like the size of our scene. Like they think that they're, the people at the top of our little vapor pyramid are like bona fide celebrities, but it's not. It's a little it's a little bubble, isn't it? With there are some rungs to climb. But
I remember when a few months ago, I don't know, I was listening to this George Clan interview. I think it was on Hot Takes, and he mentioned something about like people thinking that he's like commercial or whatever, and he goes, yeah, what people don't know is all the artists that turn us down. He's like, we reach out to artists that we like, and we don't even get responses sometimes. And I go, man, it's kind of funny because you think of Electronicon and you think of like that label's sort of tenacity or sort of what's the word I'm looking for, notoriety,
hustle.
Maybe, and to think that hustle, there you go, and to hear that they're getting turned down by artists they're trying to reach out to, it's just kind of like, oh man, maybe this is sort of a small it was kind of a humbling sort of thing to hear.
Yeah, but by the same token, like some artists in our world, and some artists particularly on their roster, they have streaming numbers comparable or superior to, serious mainstream artists, and they have kind of overlap and connections with people like Caroline Polachek and stuff, like genuine kind of mainstream success stories.
Yeah, I actually met, have you heard of someone named Claire Rosé?
Yeah, I have.
I ran into her. Well, she did a show here where I'm from at this like Japanese tea garden, really beautiful scenery. And I was wearing my 100% electronica tee. Yeah. And she spotted it and she goes, hey, those are my friends from LA. And I go, man, the reach seems to be in all sort of aspects of electronic music.
Yeah, because her music's particularly experimental, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, what did she call it? Ambient emo?
That's cool. But yeah, there's I guess that kind of suggests a meeting of worlds. Like I think she's trying to sort of make avant-garde or experimental electronic music kind of more glamorous and more fun and less kind of chin-strokey. Yeah. And less kind of blokey and stuff. And yeah, I guess a lot of what we do and like 100% electronica artists do is kind of this blending of like high and low brow and pop and art, or pop art. Like who was it? We had a guest on, I think it was Andy from Pure Life, and he made us laugh because he said that George Clanton even looks like Andy Warhol. We were talking about Vaporwave as pop art, and he's like, so this guy even looks like Andy Warhol.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess what we're getting at is that you do a bunch of things, or a lot of us in this world do a bunch of things, but I think you really do a bunch of things, and they all kind of intersect nicely. And I guess the core of all of it is kind of your personality and your tastes, and it's just it kind of gets expressed in you've got different outlets for these things. You've got you can express yourself in many different ways, whether it's making music of your own or it's collecting music of artists you enjoy and kind of presenting it in new ways. I guess Vaporwave in general is presenting other people's music in new ways, but you do that in a few different ways.
Yeah, one thing I've always thought about is like, I hate to gatekeep music because it's music and it's supposed to be shared and stuff, but sometimes you find something and you want to kind of hold on to it for yourself because it feels sort of special, and even though I think one of the things that I started doing was sampling tracks or songs that I really liked, and I felt like, oh, if I'm sampling this, reworking whatever and releasing it under myself, it's like a second layer of like ownership over it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not directly owning this, but I've been able to like put some sort of I don't know. I don't want to say ownership, but being able to like hold something that much closer, something that I love, whether it be a track or an album or an artist, and hold it just a little bit closer after being able to sample it and release it or do whatever.
That makes sense. I mean, a couple of the things that I feel like you're particularly known for, like, I mean, I like on a personal level, I know that you've got like a sort of encyclopedic knowledge of music, and you know your shit, and that comes out a lot when you're DJing. But I think one of the things that you're particularly known for is your knowledge of the catalogues of the Waterfront Dining and Cat System Corp, whose works you've kind of
oh my god, yeah,
compiled and curated into sort of compilation form. Like why those two artists in particular? Like, can you talk a bit about your relationship with those artists?
Yeah, of course. The Waterfront Dining thing was just like a passion project, to be honest. And as far as, I mean, their music is prolific in the sense that it's been around forever. Well, forever according to the scene, but it was just like consistent. And I've always looked at the Waterfront Dining albums as sort of mixtapes, being that, it's all sample based in nature. I would look at them as sort of, like I said, like a mixtape. And I go, oh man, what's on this? Yeah. What's on this? Or what's on this album? And a while back ago, I had a radio show on Mixcloud that I would just release mixes monthly. And I decided one day to do a Waterfront Dining mix and, of tracks that he'd used. And then I managed to get in touch with him, and I asked him, sort of for his, I don't want to say his blessings, but, I let him know that, hey, I was doing this. Is this okay? Are you fine with that? And they were cool with it. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed into like the Essentials series, which was those three. And, I kind of, had it not been like, had it not feel like a overkill, I would have kept going making them. Yeah. But I felt like 3 was enough to stop. But the same thing with Corp. I mean, I think I found Cat System Corp through a Waterfront Dining tape. Okay. And so I thought that would be a really good next part of like the series per se. And even that first, on the Cap Corp Essentials, the first track was a Waterfront Dining Cat Corp collab. Yeah. So I felt like that was a good way to, weave in the next part of the series. Nice.
Yeah, that's your DJ brain kicking in there, sort of looking for transitions
exactly.
and links, right?
I know. Have you seen, it's like that, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, that meme, that shitty drawing of the guy in the corner, like no one knows that this is a sample or whatever. That's like I'm constantly feeling like that guy. Are you familiar with Dark Entries?
What's that?
It's the record label.
No, I don't think so.
They do a lot of cool releases, a lot of Patrick Cowley stuff.
Oh, cool.
Some good comps.
Yeah.
But they also do. They've done reissues of gay porn soundtracks.
Yeah. Well,
on vinyl.
Patrick Cowley did a lot of that, didn't he?
Yeah. And so one of the was that meme of the guy in the corner, and it was like, no one knows I collect gay porn soundtracks or something to that degree. And it was just, it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, that music gets played a lot here in London at sort of hipster pizza restaurants and hipster bars and stuff. And it's funny that music that was designed for functional purposes, I guess like, he made music that was like way more groundbreaking and kind of beautiful and experimental than it needed to be for that purpose. So maybe it's not that weird that it's had a second life as like, something beloved of audiophiles. But yeah, it is still kind of funny that like that porno music is having a second life.
So I have here in town, I have a residency at this bar, like this wine bar called Hands Down. And our first night that we played there, I threw on a Patrick Cowley record, and the owner like immediately like her ears perked up.
Yeah.
And she came up and she goes, "Are you playing Patrick Cowley?" And I go, "Yeah." And I showed her the record. She goes, "Oh, I love his music." And I think that was what like secured my residency there.
Cool.
After she after she heard that, and I think that was enough for her to be like, "Oh, okay, cool. These guys."
That's
can play
cool.
here."
I think Patrick Fakeman of this parish had like a big sort of Patrick Cowley revelation. Maybe it wasn't like a recent revelation, but wrote a piece for the Future Sounds website about his love of Patrick Cowley. I think it's like broad kind of appeal.
I missed that one.
We'll link it in the description of this pod. But yeah, I think like people are actually quite familiar with that music because of the Sylvester, like Patrick Cowley producing all the Sylvester stuff, or like a lot of the kind of prominent stuff.
I actually didn't know that. I was listening to a Sylvester record and I said, "Man, this sounds like Patrick Cowley." And then, I went and I looked and I said, "Oh, well, that makes sense. It was him."
Yeah, like proper sort of squelchy machine disco stuff. It's very cool, isn't it?
I actually just found out Sylvester has like a gospel record or something that I had no idea about. Did you know that?
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't heard the record. I guess it's like what's it called? Like T-Pain singing without the auto tune. Like you don't need all these kind of electronic bells and whistles. If there's kind of raw talent there. Oh man, we're I knew this was going to happen. It's just a music nerd off. It's because you're too polite. You don't want to talk about yourself. You just want to kind of give love to your influences and your inspirations. But I've got to, bring it back to you.
There you go. That's why I don't even like. That's why I don't even like my birthday. I don't like the attention.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, having said that, I was going to bring it back to you. I guess again, we're sort of deflecting onto other things because aside from those kind of compilations of vaporwave artists, you've done kind of assembled kind of tribute compilations, vaporwave tribute compilations to sort of bigger name acts that have influenced you and have influenced other people in the scene. So we've got the tribute to the Whispers, we got the tribute to Patrice Rushen as well.
Oh, that one never made it out. I have all the tracks and I just never released it.
Yeah, that one needs to come out.
The artist that I wanted to do the artist that did the work on the Whispers one, the design, I really wanted her to do the second one. But she's like a full-time, renowned, designer. I mean, like that's her living, and the timeline was just not adding up to get her to do the work. And then on top of that, she lives in a part of the world where it took us like a month to figure out how to pay her.
Okay.
So it was just like it was just kind of difficult. But maybe I'll just throw in like an AI prompt and get some art so I can release it.
Don't do that. No AI prompts. Yeah, no, we should put the call out here, if there's any vaporwave artists in the scene with a love of Patrice Rushen and a love of Groove Remote.
Yeah, there you go. We can, hopefully someone will reach out and then we can finally release it. Oh, actually though, that artwork won like a design contest in her country or something. She messaged me saying that her work that she submitted that as a project. Wow. And I think that she got like second or third place for like outstanding design or artwork or something like that.
That's so cool. I mean, it's a visual aesthetic that you don't see much in the vaporwave scene. So like it's a kind of really, really detailed cartoon aesthetic, isn't it? And all the kind of details in this sort of, and it's almost like a sort of kids, like a piece of kids art or like a kind of like a jigsaw or a puzzle or something. And like that is absolutely filled with detail.
I actually thought about making a puzzle of it.
Cute.
There was this MF Doom 45 I bought like maybe at this point 15 years ago. It was a little 45 picture disc, and it came with a puzzle of the art from the picture disc. And I remember thinking that is the weirdest marketing.
That is great merch, though. I've seen. Very cool.
Yeah, I thought maybe I should do a puzzle of that, but again, it was just a silly idea.
No, that's really cool. I think that would absolutely pop off in our scene. Nobody's done a jigsaw puzzle before.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't. Maybe I'm missing out here. I should have done it when I had the idea.
I think the people in our scene are like quite committed nerds though. Like you couldn't fob them off with like a 5-piece child's jigsaw that takes 3 seconds to solve. I think it would need to be a really elaborate, complex sort of 1,000+ piece,
like a 500 piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, 1,000.
Yeah. What's some of the weirdest merch you've seen in the Vaporwave scene, or kind of further afield?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the label, but the label did like a whole trading card game.
Those guys gave me a couple of the cards at Flamingo Fest just this summer. I was kind of like rooting through my my man bag at the end of it and just pulling out all this stuff, and yeah, I've got them on my bedside table actually. Very cool. But yeah,
there you go. I can't remember the name. I wish I could remember the name of the label. But yeah, no, and unfortunately I had missed. I wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
For the sake of like, I thought it was cool, but it was like long sold out by the time.
Yeah, it's got its own rules and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Very interesting.
Yeah, not good with drawing a blank on it. Yeah, that was. I mean that whole time was a blur. But yeah, it was just like people just giving us like so much like mad merchandise
stuff.
Yeah,
left and right.
Really, really cool.
Now that you brought up Flamingo Fest, I have to know where the Powerpuff Girl pants came from.
So I was wearing bright pink Powerpuff Girls. We would call them, I don't know what we would call them, jogging bottoms, which is like
sweats, joggers,
yeah, joggers,
bottoms,
yes,
yeah.
Sweatpants. They came from like pure fast fashion Boohoo Man, which is like Shine-esque, like fast fashion, like the kind of place I would never shop at normally. But I got a targeted ad before we flew out, and I was just thinking, yeah, I should probably buy those pink Powerpuff Girls trousers,
No, I know Amanda. I think, I don't know if Amanda saw a picture of you beforehand or if it was at the show, but she was like, Thom looks so cool. And I don't know, like I said, I don't remember if it was in person or a picture that someone posted, but when I saw, I was like, yeah, he does. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, I think it probably would have been from that show, because I don't think I've worn them before or since. But yeah, I was wearing them on day 2 of Flamingo Fest. Yeah, no, I wish I had a cooler answer. Like my friend sort of
It was just
it does like bootleg embroidery, but it was targeted ad and fast fashion. But I wouldn't normally do that, but I made an exception for the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, you needed it, for the outfit.
I was thinking, the weirdest merch I've ever seen is, do you know about this Rammstein box set?
No.
So they
no, I have no idea.
So I think they did. It was like a few Christmases ago. Like you could buy a box set. I guess it had like, I don't know what, like a kind of deluxe edition of their latest album or whatever. But it was in this like huge box, and it had like a set of dildos which had been cast from like all the band members, the band members. It was like a really, really like it.
And it was a set, or you would get one?
No, I think it was the full set. And like one of them was like, honestly, it was like a tube of Pringles. It was extraordinary.
That's hilarious. Yeah. No, that's great. I think we're doing it all wrong. I think we need to ditch the cassette tapes and go for that.
Yeah. I think I'm good with the tapes. Yeah, I don't think that kind of thing is. I can square it with my day job, and neither could you.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't think so either.
Got to stick to the music. But yeah, man, we've gone sort of the best part of half an hour without really talking about your own music, and I think for people who know you as somebody who's put together these amazing compilations. and sort of these kind of curatorial efforts. I think your own like vaporwave music is kind of like an underrated gem. I think you're like your own like at a time when lots of people like including me are kind of accused of sort of muddying the waters of what vaporwave is by doing, you know, kind of different styles of electronic music and kind of offering it to a vaporwave audience. Like you've made some like proper vaporwave bunch of albums, and you've released with like a whole host of labels as well. It's very, very impressive.
Well, thank you. Yeah, funny enough, I mean, I try really hard to look for samples, but I get really self-conscious sort of what I'm doing with them. So a lot of them will just end up in like the iTunes library, you know, unnamed, unlabeled, and I'll forget about them. I mean, it's just I have a playlist on Spotify. Just if I find something I like, or I think that I could do something interesting with, I save it. And you know, when I have sort of an extended period of time, I mean, like you know, we're both dads, full-time jobs. So when I get a second to like try, you know, and work and be creative, I just pull up that Spotify saved library and just start going and seeing what I can come up with. But you know, on top of that, also my dad's responsible for a lot of the tracks I've sampled. I'll go over. My dad's a bigger music head than I am. And so I'll go over. I'll go. I mean, he was a musician, a music lover. I mean, just as I am, that's where I got it from. And so there's music at my parents' house 24/7. It's like at any time of the day, there's always something playing. So when I go over, if I hear something, I'll just Shazam it or look over at the TV and save those tracks. And you know, it's funny because when I listen back or revisit an old album, I'll be like, I know that was my dad's track, or that's something he put me onto.
That's so cool. I think it's not essential, but I find when I'm working with samples, and it sounds like this is important to you as well, like having some kind of personal connection to the material can, you know, it's, I mean, it's a slightly strange thing, isn't it? Sort of melding like somebody else's music to kind of express your own ideas. Like that's a very unusual thing to do, but like having like a personal connection and like a genuine affection for the source material rather than treating it as like kind of disposable raw material. I think that can yield really interesting results. I was mentioning, like, I don't like to gatekeep music, but sometimes I do. But you know, it's like once you sample something or you know, use it, you know, like I said, like whether I be DJing or throwing it in the mix, I feel like I just get like an extra layer of attachment to something that, you know, like I said, I don't want to say own, but now that I have a somewhat quote unquote deeper connection with now. And I think, you know, that's you know, I'll listen back to old tracks or old mixes, and I can like immediately remember the like setting or, you know, part of my life that I was in when I heard it, or when I sampled it, or when I was working on it. And you know, it's nice to be able to revisit those sort of feelings through a different lens. Nice use of the word lens.
That wasn't on purpose.
No, I'll take it. So it sounds like you're describing like a musical memory, like a sort of really keen memory for sounds where you heard the sounds and stuff. Like, because people like I've got a background in like academic music, and like you come across like certain people who say, the only thing that matters is like the music itself, like all this kind of like the image associated with music is a distraction, like the context, like the historical context or the social context around the music, that's a distraction. Like the thing that matters is like the notes on the page and, you know, the technical details of the music itself. And I, you know, like that's a very old-fashioned opinion. Like most people involved in music.
I was gonna say that sounds very boomer.
And I think it's beyond boomer. Like I think it's really old, because I think like music is so much more than that, isn't it? It's not just like notes on a page or notes on an instrument. Like the artist's kind of story and the kind of the setting, like how the music was made, when it was made, where it was made, and the way you receive it. Like, you know, the context you're hearing this music, it all adds up to like a kind of unique experience. And I think us as Vaporwavers, we like to kind of make that already kind of complex scenario even more kind of complex by like, you know, we're kind of listeners and we're reinterpreters at the same time. You know, like if we hear something we like, you know, we're thinking we've got our kind of samplers ears, our ears prick up and we're like, oh, I could do something with this.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this as is, but I could do something different with this as well.
Yeah, and I think one like real thing that's, I don't want to say frustrating, but if I'm listening to X Vaporwave artist and I hear them sample a track that I've sampled, or just a song that I recognize, and I hear their version or their take, and it's like immediately way cooler, I just think, shit, why didn't I didn't I think of that?
You're such a good sport.
And,
I thought you were about to throw shade on people being like, you know, I heard what they did with the sample, and I did it better.
No, not at all. I mean, this morning I heard something on YouTube, I can't remember, but they were sampling a Change track, and I heard it and I recognized the sample, but you know, once I heard, you know, this person's edit or whatever, I thought, man, well, I can't use that one anymore because it's not going to be as cool as that. Yeah, I'm not going to do something better than that. But you know, it's like you said, it's all in good sport.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, those a lot of those artists had quite like kind of disco era artists like Change had quite deep discographies and lots of sort of versions and stuff as well. Like there's plenty of material to go around. Oh yeah, that's kind of the whole point of
exactly.
Vaporwave as a nostalgic movement. It's like, you know, even if you confine yourself just to like the late 70s and early 80s or whatever, there's just like an absolute boatload of material to play with. It's not going to run out, is it? And
to pull from. Yeah, exactly. I even found it useful to like, you know, in that pile of tracks that would get unused that I was working on, to take those and then resample those. Okay. So it was like sampling a resample, or, you know, sampling an edit that I had done, and then, you know, A and Bing and Cing, you know, hearing the first edit compared to that, and then hearing that compared to the original. You know, you just get like a world away from where you started, and I think that's always fun. That's cool.
I mean, if you do that enough times, like, it's kind of interesting philosophical question. It's like, to what extent does the track belong to the original artist beyond a certain point of kind of, you know, you've done a layer of processing, you step away, you do another layer. Like, it's like those like philosophical things, like what's it called, like the ship of Theseus, or we call it Trigger's broom.
Oh, there you go.
Call it yeah,
there you go. It's I know exactly.
Yeah, like when you change the original parts enough, like what's left of the original.
And you know, it's like you said, there's always something more to pull from, whether it be, you know, your own tracks or another track that you've heard, you know, be it YouTube or the radio or you know, whatever.
That's cool. It sounds like you're constantly listening, or you're constantly seeking influence from your surroundings.
You know what? I really try to, but I got into podcasts, and it has made finding new music really difficult.
Yeah.
You know, I found some 4 or 5 podcasts that I like, and you know, sometimes that's taken over the space of listening to music.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, with DJing, you know, I'm DJing every weekend, if not every other weekend. That, you know, the days, you know, the rides to the gigs and the rides back, I'm like, I've just played music for hours, I don't want to listen to music, I'll throw on a podcast. So
yeah, I think that's fair enough.
It does get so it is, you know, even with all the time, you know, it still gets kind of hard to find new material sometimes, or to find something new I try and find something to challenge my like palette, you know, to like listen to newer stuff, or listen to pop music, or listen to you know, I've been trying to get into more like classic rock, but I'm not talking like Led Zeppelin or, you know, nothing like that. I'm talking like Nick Lowe, Exploding Hearts, sort of get into that sort of realm. Yeah. But there's just so much out there, and sometimes I don't know where to start. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just try to listen to everything. I mean, even on the project I put out on underwater computing, it was Brass Plum, and it was sort of like I was super into infinity frequencies.
Yeah.
And I said, I need a sound like that. I want to sound like that. Like I want something, I want to be able to put out something that gives me or evoke the feelings that these infinity frequency albums come up with. And that one, I mean, there was some Clash samples on there. There was some like 80s Mexican techno that I managed to get a hold of and sample.
Yeah.
And
I think you sent me that.
That one was really, that one was really fun to put together. I think there was even Erica de Cassier. Do you know who she is?
Don't think so.
I think she's European or something. I don't know. But she's like a contemporary artist now. But I was just pulling from anything and everywhere to try and just, slow down and chop up enough to try and get that sort of, like that infinity frequency sound that just is so beautiful.
That's really cool. I'm in a duo myself. You're in a duo called Honey Channel. It sounds like you might have sort of found a kind of kindred spirit who has like a kind of similar aesthetic approach to you, like a similar kind of ear for unusual sounds or sounds that you can work into your DJ sets. Like, can you talk a bit about your collaborator?
So Honey Channel is my DJ duo group where we go back to back, just playing off of each other's music. And his name is Andres, but his DJ name is Miel Beton. And we've known each other for years, but we weren't particularly friends. We weren't not friends. We just knew each other. And he lived really close to where I had a residency, so he was always popping in every time I was playing. And then one day I decided that playing 5-hour sets alone was kind of boring. So I said, hey, why don't you come up, and join me one day. And we talked about it. We got a date and everything. And then the venue I was playing, where the residency was, it shut down. So our gig got postponed. But luckily, I don't remember how much time went by, but we got another show. And just from there on, it's been like the past 2 years, we've been really fortunate, really lucky to get some other residencies and be playing every other weekend in a bunch of spots here in town, in Austin. I think those are the only 2 cities. I don't think yeah, just here in Austin. But yeah, we had a New Year's gig up there, and we play at a bar and club up there called Howard's. It's this nice little swanky bar. But yeah, no, just we get along really well, and really, it's when we're DJing, it's just playing great music, hanging out, having some drinks, getting some food, and it's like I can't believe that we get paid to do that.
Nice. That's fantastic. And it's that sounds like regular work.
And tell
right?
myself,
so most weekends you're playing, either on your own or as Honey Channel.
Yeah, so, and I try to think like even on bad gigs, I'm like, man, this is still like a total cool thing to be doing. Like I'm at a bar, I'm at a club or a restaurant or whatever, and I'm just playing whatever I want on,
what
on the turntables, like that I can't.
Do you find yourself playing sort of in the background for people drinking or like actually, dance floors kind of forming around you? Like what's the how does like a normal evening with Groove Remote go?
It's a bit of both. We play at a club a lot here in town called Amor Eterno, and it's this this really nice, really cozy, sort of dimly lit bar, and they play, believe it or not, they play porn on the television, on the TV. So it's just like it's porn playing all night.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't know, I've never looked long enough to know if it's gay, straight, or whatever it is, but I just know that it's porn. So that's already a really great, that's already a really great backdrop for dance music and, R&B. And so that club usually gets really, really exciting as far as dance floor wise. The only bad thing that I could probably say is that it's all wood floors. So when people really start dancing, the needles will start, moving along and skipping that we kind of have to push people off further. Because, you'll be hearing, nothing stops a groove like hearing a skip or a scratch or something go on. Another place that we play at is a little more relaxed. Actually, this gig last weekend was the first time that people were like up and dancing. But at that place, it's much more of like a vibe to say than it is like a dance floor. Actually, that place that we got breakfast at, you, me, Jay, and Amanda, it basically is just like that. Yeah. It's basically exactly that.
I know the aesthetic.
Like a small concrete floor building. Yeah, and so that's more of... And when we play there, we try and do more like new wave, post-punk, punk, sort of, that kind of vibe. And the dance stuff or like the city pop stuff is just sort of an embellishment.
Very cool. Yeah, so the city pop stuff always goes down well. It's such a broad. It has such broad appeal, doesn't it? Even if people don't know what it is.
Oh, I know. I love it. I love to especially throw that Midnight Pretenders track on because The Weeknd sampled it. So then, like all of the like radio heads, you see like the look of like, how do I know this? Where is this from?
That's cool.
So it's always fun to throw stuff like that on. Yeah.
That's smart. Those the kind of spots you're saying, you're saying it kind of looks like the place that we went to. Like there was an article in the UK papers today. It was in the Guardian about how like there's like a universal aesthetic of it's like what it was called something like why do all coffee shops look the same? And it was talking about this kind of universal hipster aesthetic where like you could be in London, you could be in Tokyo, you could be like in any kind of metropolitan hub, and there's going to be a nice kind of spot which is kind of airy and wood floors and exposed brickwork and nice coffee and trendy tunes. And it was quite. I mean, the article seemed to be insinuating that that's like a bad thing because it kind of erases places, kind of individual identities and stuff. But like. That kind of aesthetic is a consequence of people caring, I think. Like it's a consequence of people caring about making coffee, like sourcing good coffee and making it in a good way. It's a consequence of people caring about music and presenting it on, like good, interesting music that isn't just like an iPad playing a chart pop playlist, but, it's music that you've had to go out of your way to source, just as you've had to source your food and your drink and stuff. And like, obviously it's easy to kind of, laugh at this kind of aesthetic because it's like it is a bit like there's an element of it being a bit pretentious or like a bit hipster or whatever, but like at the root of this kind of stuff, like the people kind of driving this stuff originally, like before it gets kind of too silly and too over the top and too snooty, it's people caring. And I think like you're clearly somebody who cares about his music and like what it is and where it comes from.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been to restaurants where, the music is already really cool. Yeah. And I'm like, man, what are they, like sometimes I'll joke around and be like, man, what'd they hire me for? They're already playing cool shit. But I do love like when you see a place that has a vinyl setup or turntable setup or CDJs or whatever, because, like you said, it's coming from a sense of like trying to establish a mood or it's because they care or I would much rather go to a place that is paying attention to the music that they're presenting as well as other aspects, whether it be the decor or the drinks or like you said, the coffee, the cocktails, whatever. I feel like I would much rather go to a place that supports bringing in music that is fitting to what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think that this article was kind of trying to insinuate that like there's no difference between chains, which have like this kind of bland, kind of repeatable aesthetic and identity, and this, which is like a repeatable identity and aesthetic. But like these kind of places are supporting local kind of producers and artisans and stuff, like musicians included. Like I think it's. That shouldn't be laughed at until it gets, too pretentious and too kind of precious. And I think, I don't know, I think I'm a bit old fashioned, but like, I still like like this idea of things kind of being kind of quite transnational and stuff. You know, like we live on different sides of the planet and stuff, and we have like shared interests and stuff, and you know, we can come together in spaces that kind of celebrate music and stuff. And you know, we, you know, on the rare chance that we get to hang out in real life, like we can have, you know, make those connections and stuff. And I think it's there's something really kind of special about things that kind of transcend borders and stuff. And I was drifting
like you
up.
said, the sort of like, you know, I mean, like you've mentioned, I think as far as like the vaporwave scene, you have been like my oldest friend for, you know, the from speaking on Instagram to, or I think it was Twitter, Instagram, I don't remember, to you know, meeting and hanging out at Flamingo Fest.
Which you kicked off. You were Act One.
The
whole event.
Yeah. I was super excited, man. Like I'd mentioned to you, I had never done digital, and even to the day of the show, I was on iTunes buying tracks. I was like, I think this could be cool.
Wow. No soul seek for you.
And you know,
actually buying music. That's very good.
No. So, well, I mean, it was more for the sense of safety. I was like, I don't want to download some gaudy MP3 and it sounds like shit when I play it. Like, I'd rather just buy from iTunes. I know I'm getting like a WAV file, or I don't even know if it's MP3 or a WAV, but that I'm getting like an official track. And so like I said, even while we were on the plane, or not on the plane, but waiting for the plane, I was there on iTunes, like just looking for stuff and then throwing it all on the USB. And when I got my bank statement, I had like $51 charges or $1.30 charges from iTunes.
That's funny.
I was like, what is this? Oh yeah, it's those tracks I bought. But
that's the consequence of your own actions is what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I heard someone say the other day, well, if it ain't the consequences of my own actions. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, reaping and sowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's really cool, man. But yeah, it was a wicked set, and it was a really, for me, it was a really good start to the event. I know you had a pretty sort of hairy start, like actual start to the event, because you got caught up in this incident, on the streets outside, which is most unfortunate. But hopefully, I mean, it looked like you'd put that behind you by the time you were playing and stuff. Because
it was great because. I think it was great because everybody bought me drinks that I just forgot that it happened.
The bartender made you a very stiff drink. Yeah, that's the price, isn't it, of getting roughed up at the door? Have a shot.
Go, exactly. So there you go. Yeah. So it was, it was a great way to head over there to LA and playing on Flamingo Fest and being able to. I don't know, like just perform and meet and hang out with everybody. It was like, I still think about it now. It was so much fun.
No, I've got very fond memories of it.
I'm hoping and praying there's one next year.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I mean, it's no secret that we're talking about it. There's practicalities and logistics and where in the world we do it and stuff, but there's a good chance it happens.
Yeah, there you go. I got my fingers crossed.
What are your abiding memories of the Flamingo Fest weekend then? Are there any sort of musical performance that have stuck with you?
I mean, it was, I thought the whole thing from the start was just, we got there and unfortunately we had to hold on to our luggage for a few hours because we couldn't check into our Airbnb. But a friend of mine, Alex, who goes by Mission Indigo, I think you may have met him, got there about an hour after us, and he was kind enough to give us a hotel room key. He's like, just come to my place. I'll give you a spare key so you can leave your stuff here and come and go as you want, whenever y'all are ready to go or whenever y'all are ready to, get your stuff or whatever. So that was already really good. But, seeing... really, honestly, I think out of the whole festival, my favorite set, I think, was the 3-piece suites and the Global Chill set.
Yeah.
not to undermine anybody else's performances, but I remember just at that point, there was like, I have like one very foggy memory of just like completely like bliss.
Oh, nice.
Just being in like such a good mood and you know, dancing and having a good time and taking pictures and being with Amanda. I just remember like hearing all the break beats and the visuals and Enzo jumping on the mic. I remember when, and as soon as I saw Enzo rapping, Amanda and I looked at each other, and I mean, I don't know what we said, but I just remember us going like, whoa. And, you know, that night.
He'll love that, but he'll also be really embarrassed, I think, because he says all those verses are like borrowed, but they're kind of borrowed in like a really beautiful vaporwave way. So like they're borrowed from like what people used to do on pirate radio and stuff, and what people used to do on those radio stations. It's like, because it's emceeing as like a radio art form rather than like an art form where you're writing kind of beautiful poetry. It's kind of, you know, it's designed to fill the dead air and stuff, and it's got like this kind of it's got this kind of beautiful sort of rhythm and sound to it, even if the like meaning is pretty low. And yeah, Enzo's kind of internalized all this stuff, and he's very sort of modest about it, but it is, you know, quite a beautiful art form, and it's kind of quite a sort of uniquely British phenomenon as well. That, you know, he was around for it first time round, and he's been trying to bring it back in Vaporwave for a very long time. He's got the receipts as well, because like there's more and more things get called Vaporwave these days. Like lots of parties get called Vaporwave and stuff. And Enzo's like, man, I've been saying Vaporwave since like forever. He's got the receipts.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be that. He's like, I don't want to be that guy, but I've been doing this for a while. No, yeah, that set was really, really that was so much fun. Like I said, I don't remember who went first, if it was y'all or Global Chill.
Oh, I don't even know. That day was a blur. Also, because I didn't really think I was going to be working doing the sound engineering shift, so that day was an extra.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. The Global Chill set was very cool. Dennis has got like a wicked presence, doesn't he? This kind of foreboding kind of doom, and then the name Global Chill is like, it's like such a cute name as well, which sort of kind of goes with his sort of kind of jars with his sort of menacing figure.
And it was funny, the next day we were getting conveyor belt sushi with him, and I just thought, this is so silly.
Yeah. He can be a bit silly, can't he? He's such a sweet dude, gentle giant.
Yeah. But as far as other artists, I mean, the Autograph set was just completely killer.
Oh, man, that was at the same time as my set, so I didn't see it.
Oh God, I know. I couldn't believe when I saw the set times. I said no. Yes. I think I even may have commented on the post or something. But yeah, seeing, and I thought, I'm gonna have to hate to leave the Donnerland set, but I gotta go catch. I did the half and half. But just seeing the hardware. I mean, I remember watching him. You know, I may have just been like imagining it, but I felt like I could hear what I was seeing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember like, and I remember him like, there was, I don't know at this point, but I started hearing hi-hats, and I saw him like twisting a knob slowly, and I go, oh look, the hi-hats are getting louder when he's doing that. And I had never seen anyone perform in that style, or doing like, I don't know what that, like the technical term for that.
There's many reasons why more people don't do it, but it's incredibly difficult. Involves like cost, involves bringing like heavy, cumbersome equipment. Like there's many reasons why most people choose not to do it. But like the payoff is really big. Like as you're describing, like being able to like improvise and perform live with machines that aren't necessarily designed to do that, it's such a flex, and it can be really, really cool. And Autograph does it really well. Have you come across I've been thinking like there's a kind of UK equivalent of Autograph, who's a guy called CFAX Acid Crew. Have you come across CFAX Acid Crew?
No.
I think you would love him. So CFAX Acid Crew's Square Push's little brother, big brother, I think little brother. And he, like, Square Pusher makes like pretty artful IDM on Warp, like, you know, he's kind of second only to Aphex Twin really, but CFAX Acid Crew makes just straight up acid bangers with like a very British sense of humor. And it is madness. But yeah, using the same tools that Orograph uses, you know, SH101s and 606s and, you know, like the kind of classic pieces of equipment. It's like in a very recognizable style and really melodic as well. But yeah, check out CFAX. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's got, I know you and many others in the Vaporwave scene are kind of like a kind of streak of Anglophilia in you. You know, you guys are Anglophiles. I think you'd vibe with CFAX because there's like, it's got a very British sense of humor.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to hear that. I'll have to ask you to send me a link because I don't think I'm going to remember how to spell that or say
CFAX. I don't know if you guys had CFAX. CFAX was it was called teletext as well. It was like on our TVs, like way pre-internet. Like it had this like, you could look up like the news and the weather, and I think you could even like book train tickets and stuff, but like through your TV. It's like Vaporwave as fuck. There must have been something like maybe like through your cable TV and stuff like in the 90s, and it looked like it looked like a sort of old kind of computer game aesthetic, but like you could press a button on your TV remote and you'd go through these pages and you could do all sorts, like read sports updates, you know, see the league tables for the sports, and like a really shitty pre-internet internet.
Let me ask you, how old are you? I know we're similar in age, but I think you...
I was born in 89. Yeah, I'm 34, I think. I'm 34.
So you got... I just turned 31 a few weeks ago, so maybe I just missed that thing that you were talking about.
I think it might be like just a very British thing. There was something similar in France that was even more advanced called the Minitel, which is like... the main inspiration for like the upcoming Donnerlands album. Like it was kind of inspired by this kind of pre-internet like I think it was like done through your phone connection. I think you had to pay by the minute or whatever, so it got crazy expensive, and I think a lot of sort of French men were getting divorced or like bankrupting themselves, like dialing up sort of erotic chat rooms and stuff. And I think like they were being catfished quite a lot of the time and stuff as well.
Interesting.
But that's a big inspiration for new Donnerland stuff. Like the song "Seeing Voices" and stuff is about that kind of thing.
I can't wait to hear that.
Future sounds.
As far as, I mean, if we're talking Donnerlands, I've enjoyed all three of the projects, but to me, the Miracle Lounge has always been like what I go back to listening to. I remember at around, like, I don't know how many years ago it was, around Thanksgiving time, like November-ish, if I remember correctly. I saw the art go up and I go, whoa, what is this? And, at that point, I remember wanting to buy the record or the tape so bad, but I was so dead broke because I didn't have a job, or I had a very low paying job. And on top of that, our kiddo was about to be born. So my expendable income was very limited, and I could not get, maybe that's why I like that one so much, because I wanted to, buy a copy of it so bad, but I couldn't. And I think y'all did a sale or something. The MPF had a sale, and I said, all right, look, there it is. I'm going to get it. And then I got it. And, that might be part of the reason why I gravitate towards that one so much.
It's the most Vaporwave as well.
But but I mean, even, I think I've told you before, I love Midnight Store and Error Area, but of the three, I say it's my least favorite. And I like all of them, but that's the one. I like the other two more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But even I used to DJ. Oh, there was a track from Midnight Store. What was it? It was oh my gosh. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up on my Spotify real quick. I would always play for a while. I stopped taking it out only because I was like, man, I play this every time. I gotta relax. It was which one is it? I'm gonna have to get back to you. I think it was Freedom of Choice.
Oh, cool.
I would always play that one. I would always play that one out. But like I said, I realized I was like playing at every gig, and I was like, okay, I need to take this one out. People are going to start recognizing this one. And then I always really liked Miranda, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Miranda. It's like a shitty soft drink.
Yeah, that was another one.
Cool.
But, Midnight Store is the one I always go back to.
Nice. Yeah, I think the Era Area album is what is like when we got, like, we were experimenting like most with like pop stuff, and then also with like kind of wacky plunderphonic stuff. I don't know how to describe our new album. Like, it's coming out really soon. Like, it's kind of got it's got elements of all that old stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're coming up to 5 years of our project, and we'll definitely should.
That's crazy,
right? We should revisit some of the Miracle Lounge kind of sounds. I think it's got like kind of more instrumentally kind of slippery kind of it. Yeah, like instrumental as in using instruments as well, like lots of that kind of fretless sounds and stuff. Maybe we should do more of. How old is Groove Remote? The project, or is it hard to date?
That goes back to, the name goes back to when I was like 16.
Yeah. And is it like a Hey Arnold thing? Is that right?
It is, yeah. I used to love Hey Arnold. I mean, I still love, even as an adult. I mean, it's been a few years now, but even in my 20s, I was like rewatching the series over and over. 1 second, hold on. I apologize. That's where it came from, and I saw the. I was really into the soundtrack, and that was a track from there, and I said, "Whoa, that's cool! If I ever like DJ, I'm gonna make that my DJ name."
It's kind of perfect for DJing, isn't it? That's like the
Yeah.
Weirdly, what was it at Electronicon, 18 Karat Affairs set? He was like literally doing like a Groove Remote thing. So like, he would play like a tune, like a kind of fragment of a tune, and then like the visuals on the screen, like a remote would like change the channel and the song would change. Like, so like only sort of excerpts of the tunes were playing, and they were like hard cuts and stuff. That's awesome. The Groove Remote.
He was one of the first people that like really got me into Vaporwave. Was 18 Karat Affair, and that Spent Passions 2 album. I thought was so fucking cool. I mean, even now I almost made a bootleg tee the other day, but then I realized I hadn't gotten paid yet, so I didn't order it. But that Spent Passions 2, the first album, I don't like to call them albums, the first project I did for Mosa Garden. Yeah. I guess this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but what I did was, that was my first like venture into trying to make Vaporwave. I didn't even know how to make like separate tracks on Ableton. Like I would just record everything in the one long track. That's cool. But I got the 18 Karat Affair album, and I lined up all the tracks back to back in Ableton in the, so I could see how long they were. And I made all the tracks. However, like if he had 50 something songs on an album, I made 50 songs, and I made them all like the same length. Like if track 1 was 30 seconds, I made my first track 30 seconds.
You thought there was something magic in the structure.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I was just trying to follow form.
That's so cool. And I mean, that's a really good exercise, isn't it?
That album. Yeah, and luckily, I always wondered like, I wonder if people are ever going to piece this together.
Yeah, well, you told us now.
And fortunately, no one ever did.
No,
but
I think you'd have to be like,
but
Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon level famous for people to notice. Like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you know what's funny is I released that album on City Man Productions with Tony. And, he was the first guy that like gave me a shot. I think we met on Reddit, and I was like, hey, I really want to try and put something out. And he, like, without any question, was like, sure, let's do it.
That's right.
But I remember he posted a review of somebody reviewing, or he posted a review that somebody did of Formosa Garden. And I go, oh, cool. If he's posting it, it must be good. And I clicked on the link, and it was just completely trashing the whole album. And it sounded like a shitty Waterfront Dining. And I go, that's funny because I love Waterfront Dining, but I was definitely totally copying.
You should have corrected them. Shitty 18 Carat Affair.
Yeah, I should have. But and then I remember thinking, like, man, why'd he repost that? That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But and then but now it's I mean, it's in I don't care. It's funny to think about.
Yeah, man. Well, wouldn't be self-conscious about the quality of your output because I mean, I wrote down a list of labels that have released your shit, and it's pretty like comprehensive. I mean, I wrote down City Man. The defunct Hollow Jams, MPF, Virtual Beach Club, Oasis Limited, Bass Coverage, First Class Collective, Naughty Night. I think that there are others as well, aren't there? You've mentioned others even in the course of this interview.
I think the only one missing might be Underwater Computing,
which is very cool.
Again, they're super phenomenal French label. I love their whole aesthetic, and if I didn't have adult duties, I'd be buying all their releases. But their work, their output's really great as well.
Oh man, well, what a scholar, what a comprehensive sort of picture of the vaporwave scene. I guess like these labels want to work with you because you're the music's fantastic, but you're known to them as like an integral part of the scene. On both sides of the fences as a fan and as a creative yourself. So I mean, it's
well, thank you. I try to keep my foot in like in the YouTube scene, like uploading videos and DJing and doing vaporwave, because I always feel like one will support the other, which will support the other. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to get more DJ gigs or more residencies, like they see the YouTube page has some following, and then they see the Bandcamp page has the albums, and then they see the like I feel like it's like a game of Pong, like one thing is just leading to another. So
for sure.
I just try and keep like the Groove Remote name on everything and hope that it sticks somewhere.
I mean, it seems to be working. I think the YouTube thing has the potential to be huge, doesn't it? Because people can and do get blessed by the algorithm, like in within our world, like certain Baba Beats artists and sort of Pizza Hotlines, video game mixes and stuff. And like I mean, you had a taste of success with your recent thing that I did the mastering for.
Intimate Genius.
Yeah, I was gonna call it Infinite Genius. You're the Infinite Genius. Intimate.
That could be the B-side or something.
Intimate Genius. But that had like a sort of kind of flurry of semi-viral activity, which is cool.
It stopped now. I've noticed that like it goes hard and then it stops. But I'm not just the other day I uploaded a vinyl rip of Tatsuro Yamashida's That Ride on Time track. I did a vinyl rip of the 45, which I got in Pop Killer at LA.
Oh yeah,
in LA when we were there for
that's the
Fest.
City Pop shop,
and it got to yes, and it got 14,000 something views. It was getting like 1,000 views a day, and then one night, just a few days ago, I got an email from YouTube saying that Mr. some whatever requested to take it down.
Yeah, the Japanese
So
labels and artists are quite litigious and protective of their copyright, aren't they? It's sort of they're quite old media. Like, I mean, my understanding of the Japanese music industry is that it's like the transition from kind of the CD era to streaming is, it's like it's kind of only recently happened, or it is happening. Like I heard somebody say about like Japanese culture is that like they hit the 2000s in the 1970s and then stayed there.
That's funny.
Yeah, and there's elements of truth in that.
I
for
tried
sure.
to
like it's not as futuristic as people think, or aspects aren't as futuristic as people think.
All the on that video, all the comments were like, "This will be up."
Yeah.
I'll enjoy it while I can, and I was like, "Nah, this isn't gonna get taken down. This is fine. It's all right." And when I got the email from YouTube saying it was removed, they were like, you can reach out to the person and ask to revoke it. So I emailed them as nicely as I could, asking to remove the strike and let me have it up, but they did not respond, unfortunately.
No, I doubt you'll ever hear from them. Yeah, it's a shame. Have you got a strike? Are you on the naughty step?
I think it said it doesn't affect my channel, but you know, who knows? But it's the first time it's ever happened, so I'm sure there's a grace period.
Keep going, keep cracking on. It is well past my bedtime, but could you let me know and let the listeners know, like, what's on the horizon for Groove Remote? What have you got planned?
You know, just keep playing, you know, keep DJing, keep doing vinyl rips, YouTube mixes. I think I have about 2 projects just sitting on iTunes, just waiting to, you know, to put out. You know, just want to keep putting music out, sharing music, and trying not to gatekeep.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually, I'm going to just say it out loud in hopes that the universe responds. We have a dead mall here in town, an absolutely dead mall. It's empty. Yeah. I don't know how the lights stay on, but it looks like I may have managed to get a DJ set there. Cool. And I'm trying to do a Mallsoft mix. I'm trying to do a live DJ Mallsoft gig from a dead mall.
Oh man, you have to record the desk output and put some microphones about as well. Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. So I emailed the general manager, and it looks like I got a thumbs up, and just trying to wait on a date.
Well, I
and
can't
time.
wait to see and hear documents of that.
That's what I've got my fingers crossed. So I'm really hoping for that to go through.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you know, what an honor to have you as a guest. Thank you so much for making the time.
No, thank you for having me.
You're fresh off a working day, and I'm sure you want to get home to your wife and child. But yeah, thanks so much for sort of giving up some.
Yep, we're actually going for pizza as soon as I get home. So
it gets better. Well, I'm going to bed. It's 11 o'clock here, which is about an hour and a half past my bedtime, because I'm gonna be awoken by my child probably several times during the night, and then he gets up about 5:30, 6 at the latest, thinking that the day's about to get going. So yeah, wish me luck. So yeah, if I sounded a bit frazzled during this interview, it's because I can't complete a sentence owing to total lack of sleep. But any chance to speak to you is
I appreciate you. I appreciate you accommodating me.
Thank you so much. It's a love-in. It's a Thom and Aldo love-in this episode. I hope people can
there you go, yeah.
keep their food down. I hope it's not totally sickening. You know, I'll edit any like truly egregious bits out. And we're gonna put an absolute sort of bonanza of links in the description for all your kind of various projects and stuff.
There you go. Yeah, we definitely talked about a lot.
Cool. Take care of yourself. Speak soon.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
FutureSounds.
Hey, we've got a worldwide exclusive, haven't we?
We do.
Let's just call it.
We do. And I think we are allowed to say who it is. So before we came on, we were just double checking with a couple of people. We'll make it sound mysterious.
Yeah.
We were checking with Jay, weren't we? To make sure that it was all okay. But I did the intros for that, so you feel free to do the intro for the music.
Okay, well, let me bring up the old WhatsApp. So what we've got here, imagine this with no vowels. Lavender Town, but Lavender Town is the name of the artist. And the track that we're going to preview tonight is People, which I think is People. People. Like a pimple. People. PPL. So, this artist has got a real... he doesn't like vowels very much. Are we allowed to say who's behind the secret identity? Like the Masked Singer? Off.
I think... Do you know what... Do you know what? I've never watched that show. I'm aware of it. But I think we can. So my understanding is... because he's already gone live on his socials with it anyway, is that Lavender Town and the track People. Lavender Town is the one and only Johnny, who is 1 I want to say fifth of Iverson. 1/5 of Iverson, obviously well-known synth pop band of whom me and you are both wonderful fans, if not the biggest fans of.
We're in his top 8. If he was on original
fans.
MySpace, we'd be in the top 8. We'd be in the top 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're right. So yes, it is Johnny from Iverson, also known as Core Data. So this is his lo-fi chill kind of project, which I think comes at a nice time of the world. 2024 could be stressful, so we all could do a little bit of lo-fi chill in our lives.
I will work to it. I like to work to instrumental music. So thanks, Johnny. Thanks, LVNDR.
LVNDR with the track People, and that will be our cue, because Thom might bed it in slowly while we're talking here, but that will be our cue to say thank you for all of you who are listening. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for choosing to listen to us, because we've been mumbling on a little bit this time, but actually,
LVNDR.